Today I'm having a conversation with Caitlynn Dubie. She is originally from the rugged terrain of Alaska, has traveled across the United States, majored in mechanical engineering at Michigan State University, and for some reason has decided to live in Ohio at this time of her life. Though this decision is questionable, I appreciate it, as it has given me the opportunity to get to know her. She takes pride in her work, has a passion for Polaroid photography, and appreciates a good beer. Nonetheless, here's Caitlynn Dubie.
Wow, thanks, Jake. What an intro.
No problem.
I agree. Not sure why I've decided to live in Ohio at this time of my life, but I'm sure we'll get into it later.
Well, we'll kick things off. A shot of tequila.
Yep, definitely
as
needed.
needed.
Couple beers here. Shot of tequila. What could go wrong?
Like I said, it's only going to be on record forever.
Yeah, that makes me a little nervous. You can do a lot with whatever I say today.
All right, here you go.
Thank you.
Shot of tequila. Wonderful.
All right, here's to 2 hours of fun.
Cheers. Thanks, Caitlin.
That wasn't bad. That
What
might
was
have
it?
been the easiest I've ever taken a tequila shot. I pre-gamed with a half a bottle.
Oh,
so-
you already came with it.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh. I don't know how well it's going down for me.
Honestly, I'm really impressed with myself.
You want to do another one? It's all you if you want one.
No.
All right.
We'll
cool.
check again in an hour.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
We can cover as many topics as you want. If we want to quit at an hour, we can be done. We can go for 3 hours. We'll see what happens, all right?
Oh boy. All right. I do have one thing to say to start,
Okay.
which I already told you at lunch, but I think all your listeners should know that I'm pretty honored to be your first random guest on this podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone you've had so far, college friends, buddies, like people you've been friends with for a long time. And I feel like, we're friends. You may not say we're friends.
No, I would.
Okay, cool. I'd introduce you to someone as my friend, not my colleague. So
Well,
you
that's
got that
appreciated.
going for you. But no, I'm excited to get into it. I feel like we're very similar people,
Yeah.
but we're also extremely different
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, I don't know. You seem like you down, and like I offered it to let's do this like a week ago, and you're like, fuck it, yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I know. you made me put it on the calendar. I was like, I'll tell them I'm down to do this, but if we don't schedule it, I don't know. So
All right, that's
like
it. Let's get into it. I figured let's kind of run through a little bit of your past, talk topics, and go from there. Maybe somewhat of a linear timeline.
Okay.
To get things off, let's kick off part of the intro. You're from Alaska.
Yes.
Just let's talk about that. I don't know. I feel like it may be a little basic on my end, as is what everybody asks you when they meet you, because it's such an odd thing from everybody that lives in Ohio here.
Yep.
But yeah, just let's talk about what it was like growing up in Alaska.
Yeah. It was incredible. First of all, if anyone's ever out there, anyone listening is questioning whether or not they should visit Alaska or is just curious what it's like, I 100% recommend everyone to go visit for themselves. Very different than every reality TV show there is about Alaska. Just to maybe field a few questions early, I did not grow up in an igloo. I did not have pet polar bears or moose.
Okay.
Although moose did show up in our backyard all the time. I have fed a moose an apple off of my porch before, but it was not my pet. It just got into the garbage, similar to like a neighborhood dog. But it was great. It's different. Obviously, the winters are pretty hard. They're very long, very dark. I think our shortest day, the sun rises at 10 a.m., sets at 3 p.m., which is pretty good. I grew up in Anchorage, so I wasn't in one of those spots where it was dark 24/7.
Yeah.
Which was good, but it's all I grew up with it, so it's what I was used to. Everyone always asked me if I had blackout curtains or how I fell asleep, and my answer is always one, once you're tired enough, you fall asleep, and two, I was born there. That's all I really knew.
Yeah.
And no, I did not have blackout curtains, but sometimes we'd put a sheet over my window.
Nice.
Yeah, it didn't really work when it was like a white sheet, but the effort was there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess 100% when you are born and raised in that, it doesn't even think like it's abnormal because it's just always been there like that.
Yeah. People always ask me about the darkness, and like I tell them what gets me is when I went to college in Michigan for the first time, as you said. Great background research. I thought it was weird when I was in Michigan in August and it was getting dark at like 9 p.m. because in Alaska, the sun, like most of the summer, the sun will set at 1 a.m. and rise at like 4:35 a.m.
Okay, that's fucking wild.
Yeah, even when the sun sets, it's dusk. It's never really dark. So I mean, it's pretty sweet. I was there for a few weeks last summer, as you may know, and I was actually working from there, and so I was waking up at like 4:30 a.m. to work, and it was super easy because it was light outside the whole time. And
were you waking up at that time to meet the Ohio time?
Yes. Yes, I was.
That sucks.
It was a little rough, but I was done with my workday at like 1:30, 2 p.m. So
yeah,
I'd usually nap for an hour, and then I'd go hiking, I'd go kayaking, I'd do whatever.
Yeah, that's basically actually kind of the same thing I did when I was in Arizona for a week. Maybe less of a time difference, but got up at 5 a.m, was done by 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, and then you have all day to do whatever you want.
Yeah, which makes it awesome.
Yeah.
I was way more tired at the end, though, because I was packing so much into my day. I was like, I'm going to stay up till 10, and I'm 10, 11, and getting up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I did. I napped a few times over lunch. I'm not going to lie.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, it was worth it. But no, I guess back to growing up. I don't know what it was like to grow up in Northwest Ohio. But I mean, there I feel like I was outside 24/7, whether it was winter or summer. I just told someone the other day, they were talking about like how school shut down at 10 degrees or something where they were from. I think it was Oklahoma or something. In Alaska, we go outside for recess until it's -20 below.
What?
Yeah. Like,
okay, that's
wild.
The
cutoff.
Nice.
So yeah, it was, I don't know, it was different. I feel like it's very unique though. I love talking about Alaska. I could talk about it nonstop. So I really appreciate when I tell someone I'm from there and they're like super enthused and interested in it.
Yeah. So Anchorage, what size was your high school? How many did you graduate with?
I think my final number was like 480.
Okay.
I think, and we are one of like 8 large high schools in Anchorage.
Okay.
And I think we had the smallest graduating class.
How many do you think I graduated with?
70.
27.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. That's another, I'm glad you brought it up because that's one of the first things people ask me too, like, oh, were there 7 kids in your high school?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I can almost bet you had less in your graduating class than I did.
Yeah,
so.
I'm from more of the middle of nowhere than than you.
People think Alaska is like this wild universe and it's totally different. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of parts of Alaska that are very different, very rural, but I didn't grow up there. I grew up in Anchorage, a town of 400,000 people. I lived a mile from a grocery store and a McDonald's. Like I wasn't ever without anything because I was in Alaska.
Well, on your trip out here, it might have appeared that we're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, New Regal, Ohio.
The third person here for the the podcast, as you mentioned, is the deer.
Yeah, the deer that won't stop staring at me. I'm not as weirded out about that. Growing up, we did have a moose, a bison, a bear hide, and multiple salmon on our wall. So I'm used to the weird taxidermy. Not like a huge fan.
I was gonna say, so I got to catch up and get a couple more.
Yeah, you've only got one. This is pretty weak in terms of my stance. So I don't know that you can get much more than deer around here, though.
So what you said, Alaska is amazing. There's a ton of landscape to offer. If I was going to Alaska tomorrow, what are the top 5 places you would tell me that I got to hit up and go check out? I'm there for a week, what do I got to go see?
Oh, okay. Well, 5 places in a week is going to be a little tough.
Okay.
I always tell people that are visiting that, like, honestly, driving Alaska is the best way to see it. A lot of people will do like the Alaskan cruises. 100% do not recommend. Do that when you're 65, 70 and can't walk or hike or do things on your own. But my top place guaranteed is Valdez.
Okay, explain. Like, I have no recollection of what this is.
It's a little town. You may have heard of it from the Exxon Valdez oil spill lots of years ago. Maybe not. But it's this little like port town. The big pipeline in Alaska goes from the North Slope to Valdez, and lots of cruise ships go in and out of Valdez. But it just this tiny little fishing town. Honestly, I'm not going to lie, the town doesn't have that much to offer. I tell people the only reason you need to go there is because of the drive. Like, it's a 5.5 hour drive from Anchorage, but like about an hour outside of Valdez, you hit this mountain pass. So essentially the top of some mountains.
Nice.
And there's one spot in particular, which I tell people is like my favorite spot to stand in all of the world. Cause I haven't been to all the world, but all the places I've been, it's my favorite spot. You like stand in one spot and in 360 degrees, you see glaciers, you see mountains, the inlet, waterfalls, like
that's wild.
Snow-covered mountains, like tree-covered mountains, just like everything that you can offer. I've only been to Valdez, I think 3 or 4 times in my life. And each time I have like a video of me standing and like turning in a circle at that exact spot. So there's that. So you pass over the pass, go through the mountains, and then when you start coming down into the city, you go through Keystone Pass.
Okay.
It's basically just a road through the mountains, and there's just like giant waterfalls on each side.
Dang,
I know you kind of shit on waterfalls in one of your past podcasts.
Kind of.
I know what you mean. I wouldn't say this, like, one, you're not hiking to these waterfalls. They're literally right off the side of the road. You just pull off and you can walk up them or whatever, but they're just incredible. They're huge.
I want to cover myself on this harassment.
Wow.
I was shitting on waterfalls for hiking because they are so immaculate, but like from a hiking perspective, the way most parks are set up is they know that's what's going to bring the most tourists in. Yep. And I fucking hate tourists and I do never want to be labeled as a tourist. So it's like, I want to see waterfall. So does a million other people. So like they always establish it like, hey, this is like, takes 2 steps out of your car to go see this waterfall. And then it's packed full of people and you don't even get to enjoy it.
I know. For the record, I agree with you.
Okay.
Very much about like finding your own unique hikes, and the waterfalls aren't that worth it. But these 2 in particular are very worth the 5-hour drive from Anchorage.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then once you're there, honestly, like I have spent a couple nights there. I camped there once. I slept in the back of a truck there once, like just because pretty much any time I have friends from out of state that visit, I'm like, we got to do this drive.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, each friend has been like, we're going to drive 5 hours. And then like the next day, we're just going to drive back and we're just going to see the same thing. And every time I'm like, yeah, and it's going to be great. And every person I brought there has loved it. Like,
that's awesome.
It's just, you can stop so many places along the drive to see different stuff. So that's number 1, I guess. Gosh, 5 is going to be tough.
If you don't got 5, like...
I mean, there's definitely 5 places to go in Alaska, but this is actually funny that you're bringing this up, too, because so many people are going to Alaska soon for work or vacations or whatnot, and I feel like I have been providing a travel guide to every single person.
You can just send them this link now.
Yeah, I should. Honestly, I feel like I should have started charging a while ago, because plenty of like random people from college that I know have been like, oh, I'm going to Alaska, what should I see? And I really should just have one copy that I send to everyone.
You got it now.
Yeah.
You just be like, I don't want to talk to you. Here's the hyperlink. Go to minute 20 in this interview, and there it is.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, number 2. Also, I feel like my spots are a little less touristy. So I'll start with that. Valdez, most of your tourists aren't heading there unless they're coming in off the cruise ship. But even so, then they're just staying right in the town. Number 2 would be Hatcher Pass. It's like an hour and a half from Alaska. from Alaska, from Anchorage. It's, again, just kind of a mountain pass. There's actually an old gold mine there. I think it's called like Independence Mine or something, which I actually just toured for the very first time last summer. But it's essentially just a road through the mountains, and you can stop anywhere, get off, and just start walking. Plenty of people go like backpacking through there and just spend a few days out there. Fantastic time of the year to go blueberry picking in August.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, blueberries are
Interesting.
huge in Alaska. Like August hits and everyone's in the mountains picking blueberries.
What?
Yeah, we have a blueberry festival.
That's
actually
crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like Traverse City with the cherries, but Alaska for blueberries.
Interesting.
So yeah, Hatcher Pass is great. There's one spot there too. You can park your car and, again, not walk very far, but you get a great view of like different lakes throughout the mountains, and then just incredible views. I tell people, like, doesn't matter if it's raining or sunny or what, like, it's gonna be gorgeous there.
Nice.
Let's see. Number 3 would have to be Talkeetna, Alaska. It's a city. This place is pretty touristy, I'm not gonna lie. There's not a ton to it, but this town actually had a cat for its mayor for about 22 years.
Like, legitimately?
Yeah, his name was Stubbs. Google it. I mean, he sadly died. R.I.P. Stubbs.
I mean, this is why people stereotype you.
This is 100% why people stereotype me and Alaska. And I can't tell you how many random people have been like, is there really a mayor that's a cat in Alaska? And I say yes every time. But Talkeetna is like such a little hippie town kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's literally just like one strip of tourist shops and really good ice cream, and this little Airstream that some folks turned into like a food truck that has fantastic spinach bread. 100% recommend. But I think that's just worth it to go see kind of the quirkiness that you do get in Alaska. Also has great views of Denali, the mountain.
Nice.
And you can also take tons of like helicopter and plane tours out of there. So that's a good spot. Number 4. I mean, you got to drive down the Seward Highway at some point.
Is this in Anchorage?
Yes and no. So out of Anchorage, there's one highway that goes north and one highway that goes south. And so the Seward Highway is going to be the highway that goes south. And as soon as you get right outside of Anchorage, it's pretty much the road that goes around the entire Cook Inlet. And so on your left side the whole time, you've got mountains right there. And on the right, you've got the water. Yeah. Super pretty. Waterfalls the entire way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that, for the longest time, I told everyone that was my favorite drive in all of Alaska. And then I drove to Valdez, and that became my favorite. So driving anywhere along there would lead you to a bunch of the other spots I think you should go. One of them being Winter Creek Hiking Trail in Alyeska. Alyeska is a ski resort kind of town, like 45 minutes south of Anchorage. And this Winter Creek Trail is decently tourist, but it's also, I think it's like 5 miles round trip. But you get to a spot where there's a hand tram where you cross this creek like 50 feet below you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so that's pretty sweet. In the summertime, you usually have like groups of people on each side waiting, and like they're helping pull you across the river. So that's just super unique. I mean, pretty touristy if the tourists are into a 4 or 5 mile hike, but definitely recommend that.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Hell yeah. We got one more yet?
Oh gosh, one more. I feel like I have to say Denali National Park. Yeah. I mean, if you're there, you might as well cross that off your list. I would say though, a lot of the times they trap you with like trying to do a bus trip through the entire park, which they literally pack you onto a school bus, and then you're on a school bus for 8 hours driving through the park.
8-hour trip?
Yeah, that's the shortest. I think they get up to like 12 hours.
That's a long day.
Yeah, I did it once. My friend had free tickets and I had never done it. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. did not realize they don't feed you whatsoever. So it was, I think we got on the bus at 8 a.m. We didn't get back until like 10 p.m. Did not eat a single thing all day. Like, was a nightmare. So would recommend bringing your own lunch, or just paying for the tour that gives you lunch. I guess we didn't do that. It was free, so we just did whatever. But you can actually, so there's one road that goes through the park. Decently sketchy on buses also, because they're very thin roads, like I guess not thin, but not wide, whatever word you want to use, where you're on the edge of a mountain, and if this bus is a foot to the left, you're tumbling down the mountain. But you can drive personal cars up to, I think, mile like 14 into the park or something.
And then that?
Yeah, I've done that multiple times, just with people visiting, because that you can do in a day. You say you've been to the park. There is good wildlife viewing in the park, but honestly, like, I feel like you can see the same wildlife in the first 15 miles as you can in the 120-mile bus trip. So,
is it like so rugged, like there's no like extensive hiking, or like is it so difficult of hiking that you kind of like want to make sure you know what you're doing? Yeah,
so with Denali, I'd say you kind of want to know what you're doing. Some of the bus trips are like hop on, hop off, so you can get off the bus whenever you want.
Yeah.
Go hike for a few hours and then hop on any bus that comes by.
Yeah.
So someone like you, like, that's what I would recommend for you. Or, I mean, there's plenty of backpacking through there too. But for your average tourist, I would not recommend trying to hike back there or camp.
I mean, I feel like I've never been to Alaska, but I just feel like I'm intimidated from the vastness of it and just the stories of like.
I think you'd be okay. You've done enough like hiking and camping and things like that where I think you'd be all right. I do think like there's plenty of great hiking you can do not in Denali also. So I don't know that that's a necessary
I'm following you.
Stop. I've personally never camped in Denali, so I couldn't give you any tips there, but I have. So where you can stop going, like mile 14 or 15, whatever it is, there's a big parking lot, and there's a few trails off of there. Like, you can go up the one mountain right there. It's a pretty quick hike, or there's a pretty flat trail too that you can walk back to some different creeks and whatnot. So there's plenty to do that you can do on your own without doing the bus tour.
Yeah.
But
nice. Hell yeah. That's an extensive list that you just rambled
on
top of your head.
Gosh, I feel like I just talked for forever. Yeah, but I could go on and on. Alaska's great.
Hell yeah, it sounds like it.
The first three I think I gave are definitely the less touristy places.
Yeah.
There's so much though. Like, you go down south, you can do so many fishing tours. You can do like the glacier like sea cruises, which I would definitely recommend those. There's some that are like 8 hours. You're kind of on a bigger boat. It's full of tourists. I'm not gonna lie to you. Plenty of people taking photos with their iPads and selfie sticks.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta endure it to have like the once in a lifetime, like, hey, you're not gonna get this anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, there's one literally called the 26 Glaciers Cruise. You see 26 glaciers when you're on the water. And they give you cookies in the afternoon. So.
They should rename it to that. 26 and cookies or something.
Yeah, I'll have you submit that to their marketing team.
I'll just put my application in.
Yeah, honestly, why not? I'm not gonna lie. This is maybe we're gonna get here later in the conversation. But if I ever quit my job or like decided I didn't want to do engineering or something, I'd 100% do some sort of like Alaska tour, like whether I work on the trains or a boat or something.
Really,
that'd be the best way to spend my life.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Okay.
You would move back to Alaska for sure?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would move pretty much anywhere farther west, honestly.
As in the relation to Ohio.
Yes.
Anything west of Ohio.
Honestly, let's probably go west of like Arkansas.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
Don't move me to Arkansas. I don't want to go there. Or like Indiana, please. I don't want to go there either. Yeah, like West Coast area, Colorado, Montana, Idaho. I'd do any of those. One, to be closer to Alaska. so that I could get home easier.
Mm-hmm.
But also, too, just like, I like the mountains. I like the scenery. I hate driving through cornfields. There is nothing more boring to me. Like,
That's fair.
I never had trouble driving, like, in terms of falling asleep until I moved to Michigan for college. And then I, like, could barely stay awake.
Maybe
driving.
that's why I dread driving.
Yeah.
It's like,
I'm not kidding. Alaska, there's so many things to look at all the time.
yeah.
So.
I just cannot wait for the day to have fully autonomous vehicles.
Oh,
I don't want to do this anymore. Let me stay up for 10 hours the night before and sleep the entire way.
Yeah, no. If you live in Ohio, I'd say that would be the best way to go about that, because I get very bored.
Yeah. So, but you would be interested in doing some sort of tour guide type work, anything like that?
Yeah, honestly, if I can make like a decent living, this is, which, I mean, I think you can. I know plenty of people that have done like seasonal type jobs. Lots of like friends from high school and stuff have moved from like a season in the summer in like Denali National Park, doing tours that way, to then they moved to Alyeska in the winter to be like a ski guide and stuff like that. If I did that and I didn't have to work the whole year, that'd be ideal. Like I do like either a winter guide or a summer guide, and then I'd take the opposite season off and just go travel wherever.
Yeah.
100%.
That's from my interactions of people not in Alaska that do that job, but like Colorado, some other locations that we've been to where you just see like they're doing that type of tour guide job. From my experience, every person is pretty free-spirited.
Yeah.
Of like, I don't know, I just moved here. I figured I'd work here for 6 months and see what's next. They're like, yeah, I don't know. It's like when you talk to these people, it's always hilarious because they're a lot of times never even from there.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, here, like, I don't know, man. I just fucking moved here. I'm just here for the winter.
Yeah. And I don't know. Sometimes I like to think that I'm that free-spirited, and I think I definitely used to be. I think like having this corporate job has made me less free-spirited. But I like to think that I would love to do that. Yeah. Whether I would after a couple years, like maybe I'd want some more stability, but shoot, I'd do it for 2-3 years and then try to find something new.
Well, I hope that you do it for 2 years.
Thanks, Jake. One day I'll make it happen.
Like I said, this is going to be on record now, so it's going to be more of like holding you accountable.
Yeah,
at this point.
I forgot about that. I feel like the later I get in life, it's probably less likely that I would do it. So
yeah.
Shoot, 2022, maybe it's my year.
Hell yeah, I like it. Lock it in.
No, I didn't say that. We're back.
Yeah, this all get cut out, and then people will listen to it and like, what are you doing? Taking breaks? not even a no.
Break. We can tell them we took more shots.
I guess this hasn't moved in the last time, so.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fine.
So, I guess another topic I want to bring up was the idea of today kind of being a potential celebratory day for you. Do you know why this might be?
Oh my gosh. My first ever podcast. That's pretty big.
More importantly, I guess, maybe for your actual life or your health and safety, you're getting the second shot of the vaccine tomorrow. So
I am.
That's kind of what expedited you wanting to do this tonight.
Yeah, I'm afraid that come Thursday night, I'm just going to be out for the count.
Yeah. Maybe forever. The vaccine might take you out.
Very well might. So, Mom, if you're listening, love you lots. Sorry the vaccine, it took me. It went. No, I think I'll survive. Chances are pretty good. I am decently nervous, though. The first one, like, I wasn't really sick, but it knocked me out. I think I laid in bed for 15 hours. Like, I was on and off sleep, like, had a headache, fever, so... I was told if the first one affects you, the second one will be worse. So,
oh, shit. Well, best of luck.
Thanks. Yeah, I did not realize this was the monumentous occasion.
Well, I don't know. I think for the sake of this interview being a timepiece in your life, I feel like that is a big thing of like just that whole piece of your experience of the last year being a big thing to remember or look back on how crazy it was.
Yeah, 2020. I mean, wild. I moved twice. You may remember. I think the people should know. I asked you to rent out a spot in your triplex, and you said absolutely not. I would never rent to you.
Second call out to me on this one. So okay.
Yeah, second of the
deserve it.
day.
Yeah.
I think there's been a few in the past few months, but I want you to know. So I was forced to move somewhere else. Thank you very much, Jake Welly.
You didn't pass the background check. I'm sorry.
We don't need to get on into that on record. But yeah, and then 7 months later, moved again. And I started a new role at work. Went to Alaska for like 8 weeks because of the pandemic. I mean, I don't know. Positives and negatives, I guess, with the last year.
Yeah. Has just the whole experience of going through COVID and all of kind of the heckness. Can you say it? You made me do this tequila shot. This is gonna be a recap of like the first episode where I couldn't talk.
No, it'll be good.
All of the hecticness of 2020, kind of crazy. Has going through that firsthand changed your perspective on life in general, or anything like that? Your attitude, or anything like that have ever made you like reflect, kind of maybe just for a minute, sit down and reflect of like, wow, that's fucking wild, and XYZ. Did you ever like have that thought?
I feel like it's made me more negative. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Yeah.
I was listening to your past podcasts, and each one I was like, man, like, what are some big moments in my life? Like, what do I like most about what I've done? Blah, blah. Every single one was like how adventurous and how much I like to travel and places I like to go. And the last year, like, I feel like I barely went anywhere for numerous reasons, but like did not get out much. Spent a lot of time in Findlay, Ohio. And now all I do is shit on Findlay, Ohio. Like,
yeah.
1 year here has been too much, honestly.
Like you said, the positive and negatives. The positive, you're able to have an extended time back in Alaska that you probably wouldn't have had otherwise.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Getting to go back for a little while, obviously.
You had a trip to Hawaii.
I did. I had a trip to Hawaii. Got canceled. That was frustrating. I had a trip to Tennessee, to the Great Smokies. That got canceled, but thankfully rescheduled for like 2 weeks from now or something.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah, pumped. Never been to Tennessee, so
nice. The Smokies are sweet.
I'm gonna check out those mountains. I'm not gonna lie. Every mountain I see, I compare to mountains in Alaska.
Probably won't compare.
They never do.
There's a lot of moonshine around the Smoky Mountains if you want to do that.
Yeah, I've heard. I'll probably pick up a little bit. No, we've got this like 4-hour zip line tour booked or something.
Nice.
Pretty touristy, but why not?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, why not?
Yeah. I think I totally evaded your question though. I don't know that so much in like the last year has really made me reflect on my life. I guess it has made me more aware of like my wants and my goals to get out of Ohio. Like, being here for so long has just made me be like, yeah, this is not forever for me.
Yeah, that's fair. And it's not for everybody. So
yeah,
acknowledging it and saying this is a potential goal or movement that you want to move towards, and that's what you should do.
Yeah. We're gonna get there one day.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. What about you? You do a lot of reflecting the last year?
I don't know, not necessarily. I like maybe thinking about shit like that sometimes, of just like being in quarantine and seeing how like literally COVID would hit news, and like that next Friday we were working from home, and like everybody thought like, oh, this is a 2-week thing.
Yep.
And a 10 months later, virtually not much has changed.
Yeah.
From that situation. So I just thought it was crazy. Like, if my thoughts on it or perspective was like, if you're unhappy in your situation, like, and other things have also led to the same conclusion of like, why are you spending your time now doing something that fucking sucks when it can be taken away or adjusted in like in a matter of days and completely flipped upside down? Whereas like, if my thoughts were, I could have been at the time of the start of COVID locked up in in like the Bahamas, right? If I was just traveling the world, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm stuck here for like 10 months.
Shit.
Yeah, this sucks. Sorry. Stuff like that of like, why wait to push if you have goals or aspirations? Like, why wait for a pivotal moment, like a negative pivotal moment like that to like make you make that jump? That's kind of my thoughts on it.
No, that's a little deep. I agree though, and that's kind of what I meant by like I used to be so like on a whim book a flight, and 2 days later I was on that flight and going somewhere.
And having this inability to do so, kind of with the lockdowns and like the restrictions, just kind of inhibited that ability to do it.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm excited to get back into it. I've got a life goal, as I figured you'd maybe ask me later, but all 50 states by the time I'm 30.
Oh shit, that's the same goal we got.
Really?
Yeah.
How many you at?
I don't like talking about it.
Uh-oh.
Because we're only halfway there.
I'm just over halfway. I'm at 29. So.
Because I think I would be, I don't know, me and Morgan like count them, but like we're basically ignoring the ones that we've been to by ourselves.
Okay.
And trying to do it all together.
Yeah.
And like only counting those.
Okay.
And by 30, but that's slowly approaching.
It is. I mean, I feel like you could do it though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been to 29, so I've got 21 left. Yeah, that's the right math. 21 left, and that like majority of mine are all like East Coast and Southeast.
Yeah.
So I figure I do an East Coast road trip, I hit like 10 of them.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, 4.5 years, I think, about until I'm 30. So
yeah,
I gotta crank them in there.
With you being mostly adjusted to the East, needing to go to the East Coast states, that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah.
Because you don't need to spend 5 days in each one of those states to really get an experience there.
Yeah, I know you've told me before you only like to go places if you can spend a long time in each one.
Yeah, and that's like kind of what inhibits us 100%. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we got 12 days here. Well, let's just go to South Dakota for 12 days.
Why not? There's a lot to do in South Dakota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there definitely was. But like doing trips like that and working a job and being restricted to vacation just kind of holds you back on the ability to just go through all 50.
Yep. And like, I don't know, the Western ones are obviously harder. You can't get to each one as quickly, but growing up in Alaska, plus there, like went to Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, like when I was growing up. So I knocked a lot of those out. I think the only more Western states I have left are Nevada and New Mexico, I think. So
Vegas, that's a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
You fly to Vegas for $20 right now. And we can go tomorrow.
Honestly, let's do it. If this vaccine doesn't kill me, let's do it.
I haven't had the vaccine, so I don't know if they'll let me in or not yet.
Oh yeah. I don't think Vegas is all that strict.
Yeah.
I think
as long as you're willing to spend money at the casinos.
Yeah, honestly. You bring your money and they're open for you.
So 29 out of 50.
Yep.
Okay, so minus Alaska.
Yep.
What is your favorite one that you've been to thus far?
Ooh. That's a loaded question.
Okay, maybe not best. If you had to say tomorrow, I want to go back to that state.
Montana.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I would go back 100%, mostly because I feel like I got gypped. I was on a road trip from Michigan to Alaska. I did that one summer. It was actually the summer after I graduated college, had 4 months off from work, went and spent 2 weeks in Europe, as any typical college girl who just graduated does.
Nice.
And then I was like, shoot, what do I do for the next 3.5 months? And I was like, might as well drive to Alaska. So I drove there, Michigan to Alaska, and then spent like 7 weeks there and drove back. But on the way there, I spent like a few days in Yellowstone. Some cousins met me there, had a great time, and then I left there and drove up to Glacier National Park in Montana. And I think there's 2 entrances, one on the east side, one on the west side. I went into the east side entrance, and my plan was to kind of drive the road through the park, spend 2-3 nights there, do a couple hikes each day. The guy at the entrance like told me how much it cost to camp, how much it cost to enter the park. I told him my plans to drive through the park. Yeah, sounds great. Like, hope you enjoy it. Have the best time. I was like, this is gonna be great. I was by myself, but I was like, I'm excited. A bunch of my friends have been to Glacier. They say it's awesome. So I get there late one night. I pretty much just do like a really short hike and then start setting up the back of my car where I was sleeping. Went to sleep, whatever. Woke up bright and early, had a bagel, stared at the mountains. It was great. And then I started driving down the road. Like 12 miles, I think, into the road was the start of this like decent hike back to a lake or whatever. I was like, I figure I'll spend the day there.
Yeah.
9 miles into the road, it just a road closed sign.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and I was like, this is weird. It wasn't covering the whole road. I was like, could I just drive around it? I was like, this is kind of strange. So I turned around and there was like a parking area nearby. So I stopped there and there ended up being like a park ranger or something. So I was like, hey, is that road gonna open up like in a couple hours, or why is it closed? And no, she told me it was still closed from the season because of snowfall. And
oh, damn, that sucks.
yeah, the only way to get to the other side of the park was to leave and drive like 6 hours around it to get into the west side entrance. And then you could only go like 10 miles in on that side too.
Damn.
Yeah, so screw that guy at the gate who listened to my whole plans and did not tell me the
he's
road
probably
was
one of those
closed.
free-spirited guys who just moved there, and he's like, yeah, sure,
Go
I don't care.
He was like 65 years old, but maybe that's his retirement. That's what he's doing. So I'd go back there immediately so that I could check out more Glacier.
That's 100% justifiable reason of why you should go back.
Yeah. But honestly, I guess if I had to live somewhere other than Alaska, I think my first choice would be Idaho.
Hell yeah. I was going to say it.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I feel like people judge me so much when I say that. They're like, what the fuck's in Idaho?
No, it's the hidden gem of America.
First of all, potatoes. Second of all, no tourists. Like,
yes.
No one just wants to go to Idaho. But it's beautiful.
Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah, there's mountains. There's plenty of hiking. Like, there's bigger cities if you're into that. So much stuff.
Oh, yeah. I agree 100%.
I'm so glad we're on
completely
the same page.
Underrated state.
Yeah.
I hope that people stop talking about how awesome it is.
Yeah, maybe cut this out.
Like, no, the hiking's awesome up through Sawtooth Forest and up towards the northern part of Idaho. It's got Twin Falls, an awesome city. Boise's an awesome city.
Yep.
And it's like, and then it's got desert hiking down south. It's like, it's got kind of a mix of everything. And then no tourists and nobody lives there.
I've never heard anyone say, I really want to go to Idaho. And that's honestly part of what's drawing me in. Like, send me there. I'll go.
So it's, is it more of the no people thing? Completely secluding yourself from humanity.
Considering we just spent a year like not really talking to people, maybe.
Yeah.
I've got some antisocial moments. I'm probably pretty similar to you. Tourists like just piss me off.
Yeah.
I get it. They just want to explore. So do I. But like, do you have to be so damn touristy?
I know.
So decently frustrating. Have I used a selfie stick in my life? Yes, and I'm embarrassed about it. But I don't use it often or ever anymore. But yeah, I don't know. Just I don't really like crowds. Not really into that. So I like kind of the aloneness. You go to hiking trails, they're not packed.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch out for people all the time. Like,
yeah.
Nice.
There's a lot to Idaho, and then like you said, anywhere out west.
Yeah.
Just has so much to offer with landscapes and just getting some sort of a wilderness experience of the United States has so much. It's awesome.
Yeah, honestly. And that's like, I don't know. I have goals to go to different countries and whatnot too, but I feel like 50 states by the time I'm 30 is very attainable. Yeah. Especially now. I don't know if other countries are even ever going to let us in, but states will. So yeah.
Well, you if you don't want to get labeled as a tourist, what I found is the most biggest compliment that you can find if you go abroad is if people think you're Canadian.
Oh,
Because
people already think I'm Canadian because I'm from Alaska. So.
yeah, but like usually the U.S. tourists get like the worst stigma.
Yeah, because we're assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if someone's like, "Oh, I just assumed you're from like Europe or Canada," you'd be like, "Thank you."
Everyone thinks okay. I don't know though. Everyone thinks Canadians are so nice. I've driven through Canada like 3 times now, and a couple of them have been pretty mean. I'm not gonna lie.
It's probably the Alaskan license plates is what it was. It's
Maybe.
like you're kind of like the rejected part of Canada.
Yeah, they were like, you just want to be us.
Yeah.
But that's a lie. Anyone tells me I'm like, that was the running joke in college. Everyone would be like, oh, she's from Canada. And I was like, fuck you. No, I am not. Don't you put that on me.
Nice.
Yeah. That's funny though. That's interesting. I did the Europe trip after graduation, and
Which part of Europe?
we did Italy, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And then, I'm not going to lie, this other tiny little country that we drove through, and I took a photo with like the name of the country, but I couldn't even tell you what it was.
Nice.
Yeah, we were there for like a half hour, so I don't know if I count it.
And you said 2 weeks?
Yeah, about, I think 12
Nice.
days, something like that. It was very fast.
Yeah.
100%, like, would have wanted to spend more time in each country, but I was a loner. I didn't really have any friends that could go with me. Doing like co-ops and stuff, a lot of my really close friends graduated before I did. And then those that I did graduate with, like, were starting jobs right away and stuff, or didn't want to spend the money or whatever to go to Europe. So I did like one of those group things where like they book a lot of the stuff for you. Because I wanted to go no matter what. And I was like, I'm not just going to let not having people to go stop me. Yeah. But also I was like, I don't know that I'm confident enough to go to yeah, Europe is very safe. Like, I felt fine, but at the same time, like, I wasn't confident enough to go on my own.
Yeah, it's a bit intimidating.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I had only ever been to Canada before that. I had never really been out of the country. So yeah, I went on one of those group things. There was like 20 of us, and I loved it. Honestly, it was mostly a lot of other people who were kind of in the same boat. Like, they want to travel, they want to explore, but don't necessarily have people to do it with. So since they like booked everything, like, we only did probably 3 days in each country, I think.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool though. I mean, you made the initiative. You're like, fuck it, I'm gonna go. Either way, which is awesome.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Nice. I have never been to any part in Europe, so.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Austria, I think, was my favorite.
Really? Why is that?
Just super, like, really pretty. The people there were really nice. Didn't seem as touristy. Mm-hmm. Like, Italy, I don't know. Everyone wants to go to Venice. Like, it was very pretty. Like, seeing all the canals and the colorful buildings and stuff was great. But I don't know. There's a lot of very not nice people there.
Really?
And it was super touristy. Pretty Americanized, honestly, I'd say. So Austria was kind of a little less crowded. I feel like I'm fitting a theme here, and everyone's gonna think I hate people. But no, it was full of mountains, which I love, clearly, and just like an interesting culture. Like, the people were so nice, very friendly. Like, wanted to talk to you, wanted to hear where you were from, things like that. So
nice.
Yeah.
Damn, you've been a lot of places then.
Trying to, yeah.
Have you been anywhere in Central or South America? Anywhere in those countries?
Nope. Yeah. Europe is those 5, 4, and 1 unnamed in Europe, and Canada are the only countries. So
yeah,
I'm at 7 with the U.S., and I think I told myself I wanted to get to at least like 15 in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Which isn't that many more, I suppose, especially if I go somewhere in Europe again, I can hit a bunch. But no, my brother actually went to Peru not that long ago.
Nice.
Him and his girlfriend, and their pictures and like their stories sounded amazing. So they
go to Machu Picchu and all that.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Did all of that. So that's definitely on my list. Thailand, I want to go to it. It's very cheap, and I feel like you can just totally get immersed in the different culture there.
Yeah.
I'd like to go to Croatia.
Okay.
I think it's a little dangerous right now. Why not? Just go for
Just
it.
wing it.
Yeah. And Greece. Just I don't know, check it out.
I think you said it. There's just unlimited amount of places that
Yeah.
that you would want to go to, which is I 100% agree with you.
What are your top 3
That I've been to or want to go to?
want to go to?
Oh, that's an impossible question.
Really? Just
Yeah.
any of them?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. Especially with never been to like Europe.
Yeah.
It's like that completely side of that culture is like I don't even know
Yeah.
at all. So
You can hit so many spots in Europe too. Like, obviously, you would like to spend 2 weeks in each country, but
yeah.
you can hit a decent amount in a short time if you wanted to. Also,
Yeah. If I had to just throw a random 3 out there, Brazil is one.
yep.
Just to break out of South America and Central America, Egypt comes to mind.
Okay.
See the pyramids.
Yeah.
See the aliens that created humanity.
Right. Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. And 3, I don't know. Again, just anywhere in Europe, probably.
Okay.
Just to throw a dart.
Yeah.
Also, that's probably what we should do. There's a map up there.
Yeah.
That's where I'll
Pick
go
a
to
spot. Why not?
I feel like Russia gets some flack. I don't know. I'd like to go to Russia.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. People. I'm surprised you didn't bring this joke up. Everyone asked me, "Can I see Russia from my backyard?"
What are you talking about? The world, Russia's on the complete other side.
Oh,
of the,
yeah. Flat Earth.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. No. For the record, cannot see Russia. From
Have you
my
ever been
backyard.
compelled to travel to Russia from Alaska? 'Cause
No.
Is it easy to? I'm assuming the borders are not like terrible. You just fly there, right?
I've never heard of anyone in my life going to Russia. So,
Really?
Yeah. I don't. Is that a place people want to go? I don't know.
I mean, you could, right?
I'm not gonna lie. Russia is kind of like
an unknown land.
yeah, like a mysterious land to me. I don't know what's there besides some mean people, some bad history.
People might say the same thing about the United States.
That's very true. People definitely say that about Alaska. I don't know about mean people, but people are like, "What's in Alaska? Polar bears?"
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know that I've ever heard of a flight from Anchorage to Russia.
Interesting. I'll look into it.
Okay, yeah, let me know. Maybe once I move back there, I'll hit up Russia sometime.
Yeah. Nice. Well, you've been talking a lot about travel. I brought up a story I wanted to share at work the other day,
Yeah.
but I didn't get into it, and I said, "Hey, let's talk. I don't want to save it for this."
Yeah.
Is that cool to go into it?
Oh, I'm pumped. The Badlands, one of
Yeah.
my favorite spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Badlands, South Dakota.
Yep.
I had a unique life experience that made me put me in my place.
Yeah. I
with,
mean, someone
reality.
needs to. So.
So we were talking about Badlands, South Dakota, another one of those probably lower rated spots with like
Yeah. So underrated.
yeah, underrated with
Yeah.
amount of locations that are there. Badlands being one. Morgan and I have this whole day. We were at the Badlands the night before. We stayed at the South Campground, so like the free
Okay.
campground, just with backpacking and tenting.
Yep. Okay.
And then we loaded up and we went to the other side of the park, somewhere in the middle, and there was like a backpacking trail
Okay.
to just sign in here and go out for it.
Yeah. We'll call your loved ones if you don't come back.
Yeah. It was good. I loved the heat. Super hot. It was awesome. Good sweat, good backpacking, dead of the sun. We're going out 4 hours or so maybe, and like lose complete remnants of a trail.
Okay.
And so it's
Just-
like,
did you notice when you were off the trail? or
yeah.
Okay.
My dumbass just was like, well, I think it's here. So we just kept like doing that for like
Okay.
a long time.
Yep.
And it's like, well, it's got to go up here. And we just kind of kept doing that and like not really knowing we're going for a little while.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, we got to get back on somewhat of a trail here because we just need to.
Yeah.
And we were going up to this mid spot and up to a base of a mountain. And there was a group of bighorn sheep walking towards us, and we were going this way.
Okay.
People just listening are like, not getting the gist of this story, but
you were very close to the Bighorn Sheep.
At this point, not really. They were just
okay.
walking towards us in that direction. It's like, all right, well, let's just loop around to this base of this mountain and kind of like where those sheep are now, we'll go up to that spot and find that path over at that corner of the mountain.
Okay.
Do that. They're still walking. Then they kind of get to where we were, and we go back to that base, and it's like, fuck, there is nothing.
the Bighorn Sheep weren't following us at trail
No,
either?
nope,
All
not
right.
at all.
Yeah.
And they just end up like kind of grazing there. And it's like, okay, fuck it. There's this little mountain, like not a little mountain, just like a little hillside slope. I'm going to climb up to the top of that to get an overlook of the surrounding area
see where
we're at. And then find the trail, just get some elevation in me to spot the trails and get back on it.
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous like explaining this.
Oh no.
I get to the top of this overlook and I'm looking around and I turn and like look at the Bighorn Sheep, and the big black male turns around and looks at me and just goes and darts towards me. And I'm like, fuck.
How far away was he at the time?
A couple 100 yards.
Okay.
And like he's coming for me. He's like, this is his hill, his territory.
No. King of the hill.
Yeah,
and it was not you.
And it's not me. I slide down on my ass. He runs up to where I was on the hill right after I slide down the mountain.
Oh my gosh.
Right where I was standing, and he's looking down at me, huffing, and like Mara's like, "What is it?" I'm like, "Fuck, we gotta run. We just gotta run and get out of here." And she's like, "I'm holding your camera and all your gear and stuff." I'm like, "Throw me the gear."
Who cares?
And I'm like, we need to run. And we just start running, and he just starts pacing back in circles.
Oh my gosh.
And we're just darting for it. And like, we stop and like look back, and he's still like guarding his territory.
Man.
And
if he started chasing you, you'd be done for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
You and Morgan.
Yeah.
Both out.
100%.
Wow.
And so we stop running. And then he gets off the hill and walks towards us like, "Hey, you better keep moving away." I'm like, "All right, I'm not waiting around anymore."
We'll listen.
And then, so I'm like, so much adrenaline. Like, I just need to get out of this situation.
Yeah.
Keep moving myself away from this. And then this just threw us off even more into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And South Dakota, Badlands, summer, prairie grass, known for rattlesnakes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So the one option is the trail we came, which is
with
not
the Bighorn Sheep.
not going to happen.
Your friend. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And the other option is go run through a bunch of knee-high prairie grass and get to the trail.
Try it out.
So we just darted through prairie grass until we got to a trail.
You hear any rattlesnakes?
Luckily did not hear any.
Gosh, I bet they were there.
Oh, yeah. But made it out, got on trail. Fuck this backpacking trip on this specific hike. We're going back to the car.
I was about to say, I 100% wouldn't. I don't think I would have slept in a tent that night. I'd be so terrified just from everything that happened.
I'm getting adrenaline thinking about it.
Calm down.
Yeah, and it was just like, okay, end that one.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the crazy story I didn't share.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. That's terrifying, honestly. I've never had anything like that happen.
I hope it doesn't happen to anybody. So it's like another thing. We've talked about like how people don't realize or appreciate like nature of how real it is and how little of a piece you are, and like it doesn't give a fuck about you. So keep your distance when you can. Like don't go pet bison.
I was just say, we were talking the other day about the idiots that try to get close to the bison in Yellowstone or wherever. Like, why? You don't need to pet them. First of all, they're not that soft. I had one on my wall growing up. But no, that's terrifying. I'd be pretty scared.
That's it. Do you have any topics you want to go through?
Oh boy.
You said you had some stuff prepared, so I figured let's see if we got.
I mean, I don't half-ass anything, Jake. So there's that. No, I don't know that I really had topics. I figured you were gonna ask me questions.
Okay. So you want answers for like questions?
Well, I just want to make sure I was prepared. Like, I don't know, when you ask what big life moments are, I don't want to be like, no.
Oh, okay. Like, I gotcha. No, totally.
I got hobbies. We can talk about whatever.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get into that 100%.
Okay.
I have some notes I typed. I'm gonna read it.
Okay. This It's kind of nerve-wracking.
I don't want to mess it up. This
Notes
is
about me.
actually from
Oh no.
notes from today that I took.
From today? Like from our lunch conversation?
After lunch.
Oh my gosh.
Says, can you explain your personality test results? How true does this hold?
Oh, this was good. I was wondering if we'd talk about this.
So I just wrote down some of the notes from like your results.
Okay.
I'm going to read them to you. Then I
Yep.
want to get your firsthand reaction.
Yeah. Okay.
Caitlyn, you are defined by the desire to experience everything good in this world that has to offer while avoiding pain and boredom. You appear enthusiastic, but deep down you have fear of getting stuck in negative emotions. Thus, you tend to disconnect from deeper feelings and instead focus on your imagination and zest for life to keep gathering new pleasurable experiences.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know that could be more true. For people listening, this was, I don't even know how you say it, an Enneagram test or whatever. I'm number 7. So I think what that boils down to is I don't like to be bored. I like to experience new things, new places, and I don't like emotions, which is entirely true. And I think that's why, like, this past year, like I told you, it's made me way more negative. Like, I haven't traveled as much. Like,
your experiences can't hide your negative emotions,
Yeah,
and
I
now
know.
coming to fruition.
I'm not gonna lie, my friends and I in college always laugh. There's like 3 of us. Morgan, Maria, shout out to you guys. We constantly say how we deflect with laughter. Like, anytime something uncomfortable comes up, emotions, like sadness, we're like, how can we make a joke out of this? Like, do I start like shitting on myself to make a joke? Do I like shit on my life situation? Like, do I just pull one of my knock knock jokes out of my pocket? Like, that is 100% true.
Well, it's good. At least you're like self-deprecating, and it's like
Yeah.
it's all internalized. It's like
Yeah. No, but I read that today and I was like, wow, that is accurate, because I was looking at a lot of these like life pivotal moments or whatever, and I was like, a lot of these were like me moving places to like hide emotions or experience something new. Like, I don't know, I like going to college in Michigan. I knew I wanted to go out of state. Love Alaska 100%, obviously, but like, you still need to get out, experience something else. Like, people that have stayed in Alaska their whole life, I feel like just don't have like as much of a view.
totally.
Like, for the rest of the world, even.
That's anywhere.
Yeah. I mean, same thing. If you don't get out of Ohio, like your perspective's gonna be pretty small. But yeah, like senior year in high school, my parents split up. Like, was pretty rough, and I was like, where do I want to go to college? I was like, I want to get out of here. Like, get away. I have family in Michigan, so I was like, I'll be close to some sort of family. But like, it was a very split decision. Like, people always ask me why MSU, and I'm usually just like, oh, I had family kind of near there. But it was mostly like me wanting to get out of Alaska, get away from like the kind of situation that I was in. And I was like, I really like sports, and Big Ten school, like sport, there's going to be a lot of sports.
Nice.
And contrary to what I've said this entire time, I was like, MSU has a shit ton of people. Like, that'll be great. I can meet so many more people. And it did. Like, it went super well. And I feel like every time I've moved somewhere, like, it's just like given me so many more opportunities and like new perspectives on life. So that whole personality test results of like just seeking new adventure, I'm like, that's so accurate.
Well, I mean, I think from just our hour of conversation so far, I was like, when I was reading, I'm like, shit, yeah, this can kind of be summarized from what we just talked about.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, we didn't get into the emotions so much, but yeah,
just a little bit of a piece from like the COVID of like you being negative and
that's
sad.
fair. Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah,
and I do. I usually try to, like, I'm not lying. I like, if I'm in a funk or I feel like I haven't gone anywhere in a while, or I'm here in Ohio on the weekends, I'm just like sitting in my apartment all day. I'm going to Van Buren State Park for fun. Like, literally, like, that's what I did last weekend.
Feel like you're at a low now.
Yeah. Like, literally last weekend I went there twice.
Nice.
Someone from work was like, what'd you do this weekend? I was like, oh, what? I went to the state park.
Well, maybe you can
twice.
like get a kayak and like row around in like the reservoir.
Yeah.
That'd be fine. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it'll be good. But I guess like weekends like that where I'm like, wow, that's really what I did. Like that, it's putting it all into perspective. Like I leave, like I travel when I'm bored, or
Yeah.
like I go see new things. And
Well, with your passion or like aspiration for continuing to see all the Western states, it's so hard to compare.
yeah,
Like when you're somewhere in Idaho or Salt Lake City, you're so close to such a potential for amazing scenery and amazing
Yeah.
experiences. Hey, an hour, 2 hours away, or even Alaska, 5 hour drive.
yeah,
And like even a 5 hour vicinity from here, it's kind of like, it's fine,
yeah,
but like it's not like great.
yeah. No, and like I shit on Ohio all the time. It's not that bad for like getting places for longer weekends. Like we can from here we can get to Chicago, to Pittsburgh, to Louisville, like
Oh yeah.
for a long weekend, not that hard. Just not a lot of nature kind of things.
Yeah. Hit up
But-
some big cities, nice cities, seniors. That's about it.
Yeah.
So
what about whoa? What about your personality test results?
I didn't save mine, so you can like recollect and say so project my results to me for me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, natural born leader. So
I didn't like that part.
I thought it was pretty accurate.
Leader of what? A DCM program?
Yeah, this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and world-renowned DCM program. No, I don't know. It also, it's like I think somewhere in there, so like you're really confident in what you do. Like you stand up for like what you believe in or whatever, which I feel like is so you. You just like, you give no shits all the time. You say what you want to say, and
Yeah, I would agree
like,
with that.
yeah.
I
know.
thought that the results were, for like it being a free test and it took
Yeah.
like 5 minutes, it was like, and then your results of you saying like how accurate it was like mine were, man, I answered what, 50, 60
Yeah,
questions
something like that.
tops, and it was like, oh, how do you just basically summarize my whole perspective on
Yeah.
life?
Yeah. Yeah, no, mine and my other two, I think my like top three were, that one was the most with like traveling and hating emotions or whatever. But then the other one was like the perfectionist, which is very accurate. And then the achiever or something, which also like, I feel like I put a lot of pride into like work and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
all very accurate, kind of creepy how
It is,
well
it's crazy.
they knew it. But
I was halfway tempted of interested in like seeing what the full like 20-page write-up that they would give you if you
Yeah.
had a paid version.
was it paid? I almost clicked on it to see what you had to do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, so
I
like
didn't.
it would go like a 20-page in depth like
Yeah.
synopsis
The
of
little previews seemed cool. Like I think it told me my most common attribute or something.
Mhm.
It was like enthusiasm. And I was
Mhm.
like, not when I'm at work. But
It is crazy to think that your thoughts can be summarized that easily from a standardized test and it
yeah.
hold true to like the way you think.
Yeah. No, I thought they were pretty accurate. I mean, I thought Amy's were pretty accurate too.
Oh yeah,
So
totally. I was
Yeah.
thrilled with it. It was a
yeah,
bit weird.
I'm glad she sent it. I've had a few people ask me like, "What's your Enneagram type?" And I'm like, first
really?
of all,
I've never been asked it.
really. I knew that I took it once before,
Mhm.
probably a few years ago, but I did not remember what my results were. So
So
I'm
you
glad she
were
sent it.
at what number?
7.
I was an 8, right?
Yeah,
And Amy was a 4.
I think so. Yeah,
Okay, so if like we ever want to look back and like look up what
Yeah.
these numbers are, we can just remember the numbers.
that's perfect. Next time in like 3 years, when someone's like, "Oh, have you ever taken this?" I'll be like, "Hold on, let me go to this podcast."
Yeah.
Right, I was a 7.
Oh, so I don't know. We're just reduced to a standardized 60-question test, and that's our life.
I'm a 7. I'm a number.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that's.
yeah, we're reduced even further.
Yeah, I'm literally just a number.
Then probably with the paid version, it'll tell you like how many millions of other people that are exactly like you.
I wonder. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Your personality is so little unique that there's 300 million people with the exact same result.
I mean, there are literally only 9 numbers to it, so there's got to be quite a few people that are a 7. But
no, it was cool. I enjoyed it. I wanted to bring it up. I thought it was funny.
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. When you said you had notes from today, I was a little scared what we were gonna talk about.
I was gonna bring a result from your actual work
Yeah. Good luck with that one.
I talked to your boss, got some questions and feedback for you.
It's all for the podcast. It's for research.
Like, can you tell me some like negative experiences with Caitlyn so I can like call her out?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say I'd take it well.
Oh yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Maybe I'd sit here and cry on your podcast, but you got it.
I think the most optimistic way, you'd be like, fuck this shit. I don't need this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do my gig in Alaska now. I'm leaving tomorrow. Done.
Yeah, I'd say, fuck you. I'm going to do seasonal work in Alaska. Yeah. It's my backup plan. I've got one. We obviously both recently went through like cuts at work and whatnot, and my backup plan if I was to be cut was that I was gonna sell all my stuff here, pack up my car, and start heading towards Alaska and just stop wherever the hell I want to stop along the way.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I fully support it if there's not cuts anyway.
Just do it anyways.
Yeah.
I will say one of the reasons I initially thought we were so similar was before I really even knew you that well, someone at work told me, they were like, I'm pretty scared about you and Jake. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, we're not scary. And they were like, one day, both of you are just not going to show up. You're going to be off doing some sort of like adventure or like traveling somewhere. And I was like, yeah, probably accurate. Like, sorry.
Same person as we were talking about winning the lottery. And I was like, no offense, guys. Like, if I won the lottery tonight, like, you would never hear from me again. Like, you would never, like, I wouldn't even tell you I was gone. They're like, ouch. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, my coworkers and I the other day, like, somehow got brought up, like, how much money would you need, like, deposited in your account to just, like, not come back to work? Their answers were like $700,000, $1 million. I was like $20,000, like maybe less.
That's hilarious. We had the exact same conversation.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if we had like kind of like what number was like the minimal.
Yeah.
But it was like kind of what would you do if you had $100,000 gains in like some of your investments overnight?
This
and
has
mine was
probably
like,
come up a lot because of all the stock talk
Yeah.
at work and whatnot.
Yeah. And mine was like, I don't know, I'd probably just quit. They're like, with 100 G? And I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, that's 100 G I don't have right now.
Also, why not? Like, you go, you spend however much of that you want to spend traveling, doing whatever, and then if you need to, you find another job.
Yeah, then you start back at you're not at any loss.
Yeah, like some people's mindset where it's like, I need $1 million before I'd ever quit this job where I sit in an office for 8 hours a day.
I fully believe people with that sort of mentality would always continue to extend that bar.
Yeah.
If in 10 years you reach that $1 million bar, I think you would have like, well, I got $1 million now and this is the lifestyle I'm living. Your cost of living goes up. You're like, I need $2 million.
Yeah,
and you would
that's
just
fair.
extend it another 8 years, which is depressing. And
I agree. That's why I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
Drop a few G's in my bank account.
Yeah, $2,000 tomorrow, I'm out.
See ya.
That would last me like 3 months in Thailand.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. I feel like the pandemic also, it's made me more like, shoot, I can do whatever I want with my life.
Yeah. Nice. That's good.
I have a couple friends too, like my one friend from college, like, graduated with an engineering degree, was working for this firm in Wisconsin, living with her parents, like, didn't love the job, but like was making money, had a job right out of college, was doing just fine. But her long-term boyfriend lived in Florida and she had been like wanting to go down there. So she decided one day, she was like, I'm going to quit. She packed up her car, drove to Florida, like for like 5 or 6 months, worked at Starbucks, loved her life. Like,
Oh yeah, that's fucking awesome.
yeah, I, like, eventually got a job there, but it's just, I don't know, before she did that, and then I have a couple other friends in like similar situations where they just quit their job to pursue their actual dreams. It's like, before that, I was like, oh, I get this job, I work for 40 years, and then I don't, maybe do something with retirement, I don't know, but now I'm like, shoot, I just do whatever I want, whenever I want.
I think our generation and the generation after, and is that whole mindset is it's been presented on us from the beginning of how easy it is. And then after like maybe some of our similar experiences of traveling, having a job and like seeing how easy it is and like knowing friends that had that situation,
Yeah.
it just continues to reinforce like how easy that ability truly is to be like, man, if I want to pack up and just go somewhere and get a job in 5 months, I pretty confidently think I can make that happen.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was ever like in just a normal person's thought or mindset before.
Yeah, I think it's like the fear of kind of like, not to be cliche, but like the fear of the unknown or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know for sure when you're going to get that next job or like how a job search is going to go. But just like, I don't know, having the confidence and the mindset to do it, I feel like to me is super inspiring. Like,
Yeah.
the few friends that have done it, I'm just like, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. Dude, there's some definitely more like depressing stories of like that.
Yeah.
Not of like falling into that, but people who follow a life through retirement. So have you ever watched, who's the crazy actor? He really acts with his face.
Jim
Over
Carrey?
Jim Carrey.
Oh, no
Yes.
way.
Yeah, like overacts.
You should know, any one of my friends can tell you I do not know like names to faces at all. So that was very impressive that we just got that.
Nice. Well, he had a documentary of like kind of on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm assuming you haven't watched it.
Nope.
He was talking about like why he pursued acting and comedy at a young age was because he was reinforced from his parents growing up entirely that, hey, you need to have a stable job, have all the steady income. And he watched his dad follow this, go through a job he didn't like, but he did it to save for retirement. And like when he got close to retirement age, like his 401k fucking tanked and he got let go of his job.
Oh,
and it was
yikes.
like completely that one moment just completely set like, why would I pursue something that I don't want to do?
Yeah.
Because if you think that you have some sort of stability, he's like, there's never stability. And like, just that one line, I was like, man, that's such a good perspective. And I hope more people should take.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you do hate it, fuck it, dude. Like, why take, because there's truly no stability. Because in 30 years, some shit could happen.
Yeah. And I think we're in like a totally different world right now too, especially with a ton of companies going like remote work, things like that. Like, I feel like our generation is more of like, no, I'm not tied to one company for life. I'm gonna move around. I'm gonna like live where I want to live. Go to companies that give me like good work-life balances.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the generation kind of above us, like our parents, were very much full of like 40 years, like sitting in an office, and
yep,
that's just how you do it. So I don't know. To me, it's inspiring, like how many people are kind of going for what they want.
Yeah, it is. It is 100%. It's
Yeah.
cool. I hope it goes in that trend more and more our entire lives.
Yeah, I agree.
So, let's pull back away from work a little bit.
Yeah.
Fuck
work.
Thank God. Done with that. Maybe somewhat tied to it. We talked about you going to Michigan State. Why you went to Michigan? Was there a specific reason why you chose engineering?
So sort of. I actually, when I applied to colleges everywhere, I applied as like an athletic science major.
Okay.
I wanted to go to physical therapy, grad school, wanted to be like a athletic trainer kind of thing. Like, grew up around sports, love sports. We had this fantastic athletic trainer at our high school. Like, she was just the coolest person. So I was like, hell yeah, that's what I want to do. Like, I want to work for a pro sports team. What a dream job, which honestly would still do that also. Second to being a tourist in Alaska.
Yeah.
Full time. So I applied to a ton of schools, did that, and then I like really decided, I was like, I want to go to Michigan State. Ultimately, it came down between going to Michigan State or University of Alaska Fairbanks.
Okay.
Which, if you don't know much about Fairbanks, gets to like -40 pretty often in the winter. It's even darker than Anchorage. People refer to it as Square Banks because it's just a square. Like, there's not much there. But Fairbanks was going to pretty much pay me to go to school. I had enough scholarships that I would literally just end up with extra money in my bank account. Michigan State, very much the opposite. Like out of state tuition, no scholarships. So tough choice. Obviously, you know which one I chose, but at the end of the day, I was like, I could get a 4-year degree, make like $35K as an athletic trainer, and then go to like 4 to 6 more years of like grad school and PT school and whatnot. Or I could do engineering.
Yeah.
And
so was that like really the only two really you had set in your mind as like worth your time that you would really want to pursue?
Yeah. And I don't, honestly, I feel like I kind of went into college blind. Like I didn't really know what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Like my dad worked construction. My mom was like a secretary, like kind of followed us through school. Like she worked at our elementary school for a while as like a teacher aide, and then like worked at our high school as a secretary. So it was like the whole like, I don't know, 9 to 5 office job career thing. Like I just wasn't as familiar with. A lot of my friends' parents were teachers or like orthodontist type things. Like not like big corporate jobs. I feel like I just really wasn't familiar with. So I was like, I don't really know what I want to do. Love sports. That's why I was like athletic trainer. And then I was like, I've been good at math and science my entire life. I feel like there's a ton of possibilities with engineering. Because at that point, when I switched my major to engineering, I like didn't pick a specific one. So I was like, I can go to any industry. I could do pretty much whatever I wanted. And then I was like, if I'm going to pay off these loans in my lifetime, I'm probably going to need an engineering salary. So as shallow as that sounds, it was mostly the money if that made me pick engineering.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's reasons.
Yeah. And then I think it was like a semester or two in, I was deciding between civil and mechanical. And then I was like, I really like the civil aspect. I like kind of like being on site, like project engineering, field engineering, things like that. But then I was like, oh, mechanical, I could go so many more industries with. So
yep,
that's why I decided on that.
Yeah, part of me wishes I would have done mechanical.
Yeah?
For that.
Just
like,
more
basically.
options?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But fuck it. I mean, at this point now, it's like whatever.
Honestly, and like I feel like now in our careers, as an engineer, you could sell yourself so many different ways too. Like,
yeah.
I feel like if I wanted a civil job, I could probably, like with my work experience, kind of explain.
Yeah.
Like, somewhat, sort of.
Yeah, and there's just more and more companies that continue going to arise that are going to give less of a shit.
Yeah.
Where it's going to be like, hey, can you learn?
Yeah.
That's basically what people are going to ask. And like, can you prove to me that you can learn?
Yeah. I mean, my job right now, I didn't learn a single bit of it in college. Like my degree has not helped me whatsoever. Like if anything, I know how to critically think. I'm a hard worker. Like I learned how to do my role. Like
and that's what skills you take away from a 4-year engineering degree.
Yeah.
Other than that, like who gives a shit if you can do differential equations?
Yeah. Do I remember 75-80% of the shit that was talked about in my classes? Absolutely not.
Yeah. So. It's like, are you going to be if you're a professor or like a scientist, a legitimate scientist who studies like rigorous experiments, you're not going to need to know that.
Yeah. Yep. No, I agree. Why'd you choose engineering? Do you have any other options in mind?
No, I wasn't going to go to college. So
okay, I've heard that on a few of the podcasts.
Yeah, I know it's just weird now. Let's like talking to people that have like already had 2 hours of my perspective like drilled into their ears. Yeah, so I just wasn't gonna go. I work construction, so similar. Like my dad was construction, grew up all around it. Just assumed that was gonna be the path.
Yep.
So doing that, and then like I said before, had that experience with working doing that route. I went to trade school, focused in masonry.
Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yep. Actually, what you probably don't know about me.
Oh boy.
I have a 3rd place at national competition for SkillsUSA for bricklaying.
No way.
Yep.
First of all, I'm shocked that is a national competition.
Yeah.
I know nothing about bricklaying, but 3rd.
Yeah.
How old were you?
senior in high school.
Where'd you go? Where was this national competition?
The competition was in Kansas City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Third.
Yeah.
Do they base it on time, quality? How does that work?
Yeah, everything like that. So, with oh man, I wasn't planning on going to this explanation. It's been a while. So
On the spot.
Yeah, going to trade school, you can either just basically do the trade, and then parallel with that, with a lot of schools offer, is like you want to do like the skills competition, and like do a trade competition. So like there's electrical, there's nursing, there's a ton of different fields.
Okay.
And then my focus was construction trades, and then you can do like electrical, plumbing, carpentry, masonry. And then what I was a part of was actually a 4-person team that we had an 8-hour day to basically build a small house in a huge, massive warehouse. And it was like, so we won state. So there's one team from every state.
Okay.
That comes. And then you're just in this big old warehouse for this competition. And you have your material stacked up against the wall.
Okay.
You're given blueprints and you got like 8 hours. And it's like, build this small house.
Wow.
And like, so like I was the lead mason on our team.
Natural born leader. Yep. Enneagram.
Oh
8?
shit. Yeah.
Is that, yep, 8.
God damn it. Can't get away from it now. There was a guy who was the carpenter, a guy who was a plumber, and a guy who was the electrician.
Wow, so it was like this wasn't just the bricks. You were doing the plumbing and the housing and stuff
Yeah,
too?
yeah. So we worked as a team for everything, but
Wow.
like so that person like took off and like led the plumbing prints, and then I laid all the brick around the base of the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
So yeah, we did that. I was pissed about not getting first at the time.
Yeah.
It was like being that close to it was like the most frustrating thing. Like,
Yeah.
I remember like being so like bummed out. Like, are you kidding me? We didn't get first.
Do you get anything if you win, or just like the sense of pride?
So first place, like not in like that. There was less ability for like that specific competition.
Okay.
But like, so if you got first, you had the option to potentially go to like a world trades competition. Wow. And then a lot of the other like personal competitions, if you did like the solo masonry, like you would get basically job offers from anywhere in the United States right there on the spot.
Wow, that's awesome.
Other like 2-year degrees, scholarships, like local schools and stuff like that. And then it's like we won just like a ton of tools.
Okay.
It's like drills, saws, and
cool.
Just take that home.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
You think if you like got first and you got a job offer or something, would you have been doing that?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Man, we never would have met. We wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about.
That is crazy.
All right. Off of my tangent of going to trade school and that stuff, why did I choose engineering?
Yeah. Let's get back there.
I was going to need a whole beer story for this one.
What do you got?
Zombie Dust.
Oh.
True Floyd's Brewing, please sponsor me. Send me free beer.
Yeah. That's what you need to do. Get some beer sponsorships for this
Should I
podcast.
turn all of these to the front and then they're going to sue me?
Yeah, make sure.
Yeah. I don't want to be a part of these. So it was just basically, I didn't even think about it really, it was not going to college or going to college. And like the only degree what I even acknowledged was engineering. Like nothing else even crossed my mind as an opportunity. Wow. It was, with my construction experience, it was strictly only applying for construction management or civil engineering.
Okay.
And that was it.
Do you know a lot of engineers? Like, I feel like a lot of people with parents or family friends like automatically go to engineering, but
nope, none. It was just like the same kind of like the same background or reason justification behind you was like, I'm fine at math and science.
Yeah.
So I did that, and late into my senior year, I took my ACT for scoring and stuff, and I went and talked to some schools, and I'm like, hey, I'm balancing these two majors, and that's pretty much all I'm looking at. And the one guy in the engineering school is like, why not just do civil engineering? You'll have more opportunities. You can get into the same field And then if it's something like you don't like the math and science and shit at a college level, then just drop back and do the construction management.
Yeah.
And I was like,
fair.
okay. And then that was pretty much it. So it was
Here you
like
are.
the build up was a very lackluster explanation of like, yeah, I never thought about it. Like, it was just kind of crazy. I mean, just with my limited experience coming from small town,
Yeah.
it just never even crossed my mind for other options. It's like, well, this is the most paralleled thing
Oh.
from my life thus far. So
Yeah,
why
that's
not?
fair. And then obviously, I mean, your first co-op with Marathon was in refining, right?
First, two,
Why'd you go that route?
money. I didn't have any money. Yeah.
But like refining specifically, is that just what was presented
That's
to
just
you?
what the only one they offered.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
it's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So like at that time I co-opted with a construction management company, and I was like, I really did not like that side of it. Like all of these guys just live in hotels.
Yeah.
They work 14-hour days. They're on salary. Their families were in Cincinnati and they're working in Toledo. And I've been in a hotel for 6 months. I'm like, this looks like this life sucks.
Yep.
And so I was like, fuck the construction management. So I just applied to a bunch of other places.
Yeah, why not?
And Marathon was like, they called me while I was on my co-op. And like I accepted the offer like while I was still co-oping with my other company. It was like, because it's like so much money being flashed at me.
Yeah.
Like you said, whatever shallow as it may seem. It was
Fair.
like, what
You're
the
a broke
fuck?
college
I've
student.
never thought I'd try to make this money in my life 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was like, you're going to pay me this now to go move out to Illinois to refinery? Cool.
I was gonna
All
say,
right.
so did you know where you were going to this tiny town in Illinois
Yeah.
when you accepted?
Yeah, I didn't care. I was,
All right.
and I was just like, I mean, if I can pay me $25 an hour for not having any experience, sure.
Yeah. And then you love tiny towns in Illinois so much you decided to do your third co-op in Patoka.
No,
Illinois?
that's funny. You're learning all this stuff about me. No, that was not a plan either.
Okay.
So all of my experience with Marathon at this point, I was pretty set on like just pursuing that path and like trying to work for Marathon at this point with having the two. So I went to Robinson, co-opted in the refinery. Refining had a bad downturn for like that season of like rehiring. And with me being a civil engineer, refineries were like, we don't want any civil engineers. We want mechanical or chemicals.
Okay.
So I talked to my boss. I'm like, hey, I want to work here, but like, if you guys aren't going to bring me back, I'm not going to like go out of my way to try working for you guys. I'm just going to go somewhere else. And he stuck out like an arm and a leg, and he's like talking of HR. He's like, fuck it, you're coming back here next term.
Wow.
So he just like basically said, you're coming back here for your next co-op if you want to work for us.
Wow.
So then he brought me back to Robinson
Okay.
to work again in his department. And then I was like, okay, what are my opportunities full time if I stay with this company? Working with HR recruiters, they're dog shit. Terrible experience from my end. I don't know about you.
Uh-oh.
Like, they just like would always tell me as a co-op, like, we have nothing open, so get pound sand.
There, yeah.
And so I was like, all right, whatever. I was like, well, if I'm gonna stay for working this company, I'm from Ohio. I want to try like what I've never had a corporate experience. I would like to see if I even like a corporate office job before I
sign up for
it full time.
Yeah.
It's like I'll try getting a job in Findlay. Had all of it planned out. 2 weeks before I start, they call me and they're like, hey, you want to go back out to Illinois? And I'm like, not really.
Is that my only option?
Yeah, they're like, well, you're going to be in this department in Findlay, or you can go out to Vandalia, Illinois and work at Patoka. And this was like 2 weeks before I was supposed to start.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I was just getting ready to like sign an apartment.
Yeah,
and they're
good
like,
thing you didn't already.
They're like, well, do you want it or not? And I was like, I don't know, can you give me like some time to think about it? And then like, let me talk to some people.
Yeah.
And people were like, honestly, like everybody that worked at Marathon at the time that I was talking to was like, that's probably like a better experience. That position in Philly is going to suck anyway. So like, that's going to be way more beneficial for your experience.
Like long term. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I called him back. I'm like, fuck it. Yeah, let's go out to back out to Illinois again.
Why not? Small town Illinois. Can't get enough.
I know. Which was awesome. I enjoyed that experience. You worked out there.
Yeah, after you. Actually, I feel like, I mean, obviously I didn't know you, but you were somewhat of a star. A natural born leader, some would say.
Jesus,
because I think I mean, it was what, 2-3 semesters after you maybe I was there. They were still talking about you. You're definitely one of their favorites out there. They referred to your beat up truck as the Welly mobile. Yeah. Like, that's all I heard. And I heard negative things about other co-ops. So they only had good things to say about you.
Bury that conversation there.
Yeah. So I knew your name long before I knew you.
That's hilarious.
And then like I started in Findlay, and some of the people I worked with when I first started obviously were friends with you and whatnot. And I'd hear your name thrown out, and I was like, "Oh, that's the guy with the beat up truck."
That's the infinite. What does this guy look like? When you look at me, I'm like this 160-pound skinny dude with hair down about halfway down my back. Like, this is the dude.
Yeah, like, this is the Jake Welly. Not what I was expecting.
The bar was set high, and he did not meet expectation.
No, but I don't know. I'm really glad. I feel like we owe our friendship kind of to Amy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, she, I mean, we both started our temp assignments or whatever at the same time, and that's when her and I got a lot closer. I mean, I knew her from co-ops and whatnot, but we got really close through that, and I'm pretty sure she's the only reason I decided I wanted to talk to you again after you denied me your triplex.
Yeah, that's fun. I mean, yeah, hey, it is what it is, right? It worked out. We're here. Whatever.
Here we are.
It's funny because, so, like, you were co-oping, and I started full-time, I think, at that point.
Okay.
Because I was sitting at my desk, and Steve came back for your final interview with you.
Oh, okay.
And Steve came over to my desk, and he's like, I'm like, "Oh, what's up, Steve? How you been, man?" And he's like, "Oh, just back here for this, our co-op's final interview." He's like, "I'm here fighting for her because she's fucking awesome." and I was like, "Oh, yeah, nice. That's cool. Like, you didn't come back for mine." And
ouch.
And
you're like, ugh,
no, so from like my end of the experience, and then talking to Jonathan as well, and then also like going out to Patoka and like working with those guys after you were there, you had some sort of a reputation, high regard reputation as well, of like everybody. I mean, not to get sexist at all, but like out in the field, like all the guys were like, "Oh, but there's a girl co-op coming out here." Yeah. But apparently you put them in their place and you told them what was up.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I definitely have some good stories from out there, but the first few weeks I was there, I mean, I didn't know how to treat it either. I mean, it was my third co-op. My first two were in Findlay, corporate office, business casual outfits, and then I told him I'm going out to the field, and all I had heard about was like, oh, technicians hate engineers. Like, engineers, they think they're so smart. I'm like, yeah, like, usually we're pretty stuck up. That's fair. And it was like, there's no women out there. Like, only the admin's a female. I'm like, okay, all right. And then I'm like, what? How do I talk to these people? What do I do? And then someone was like, oh, they all love like fishing and hunting. I was like, I got this. Like, no problem. But my first few weeks out there, I remember they'd like, I'm sure we probably had like the same desk, but sat in the back room, and someone would swear or fart or something, and they'd be like, oh, Caitlynn's in the room. Stop. Like, be quiet. And like one day they were all talking, and I don't think they could see that I was at my desk, just where they were sitting, and someone said the F word or something, and then they're like, oh, is she in here or something? And so I just walked by, and I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, they thought it was hilarious, and from that day it was like they could just talk about whatever they wanted.
Yeah, you had to stand your ground and prove you weren't the stereotype.
Yeah. I was like, first of all, you all know way more than I do, so I'm not going to be the stuck-up engineer. Second of all, I probably swear more than most of you, so it's fine.
It's fair to say that I could probably swear more than both of you
guys. Yeah, you definitely swear way more than me, but yeah, they gave some of them a run for their money out there. But it was good.
Nice. That's crazy.
I feel like I learned like a good life lesson out there. Like, one thing I'll never forget. Like, first few weeks, I was kind of tiptoeing around them. I was like, I I don't know if they like me, if they want to like get to know me, whatever, like kind of just here to work, whatever. And I walked back into like the mechanics and the electrician's room or whatever, and I started asking one of the electricians a question. He just full on interrupted me. He's like, "Why don't you ever just come in here and talk to us?" And I just like stopped. I was like, I don't know how to answer this. And he was like, "You always just come in here and you ask us questions about work, and we don't want to work. Like, just talk to us." And I literally said to him, I was like, I didn't really think you wanted to talk to me. And he was like, "Sit your ass down. I want to learn about Alaska." Like, I was like, that was a lesson that like still sticks to me. I'm like, I need to make small talk with people. Like, I need to get to know them. I can't just like treat them as like someone who has all the answers to all my stupid work questions. Like,
yeah. And it just makes life more enjoyable. Like, if you're going to be at a job for 8 hours a day, like, why not just enjoy the people you're around and not like, hey, the work stuff is important in itself. And like, when you need to get the job done, you do it. But like, when it comes down to it, like, what's more important, building relationships and just enjoying your life.
Yeah, I agree.
So
yeah, definitely.
nice. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm glad we both had the Patoka experience.
It's funny. Our lives were paralleled kind of for a while, and then it led to the culmination of recording our thoughts on for broadcasting it to the internet,
to the world, worldwide.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what I meant. Like, I feel like we're very similar. We've had similar experiences, but we're also very different.
Yeah.
You're an 8. I'm a 7. So.
God damn. We're reduced to numbers at this point. Yeah. I have one last question before we get into like some of the standardized questions that I wanted to ask people.
This isn't the big one yet.
Okay. You maybe briefly joked about my rigorous research for my write-up on you.
Yes.
My research was scrolling all the way back on your Instagram.
Wait, all the way?
All the way. So
I think I have like over 1,000 photos.
Yeah, when I didn't look, I just kind of like, I got to the bottom and then I was just kind of like, oh, what's this? And then I like went really fast.
Okay, wow. What'd you find?
One thing stuck out to me. What happened 8 years ago that led to the scar above? Because your response to all the questions on the post was that you killed somebody. That was the only answer. Yeah. It was like you posted a photo of like your cut
blood
and
all
then,
over my face.
And then like someone was like, "Oh my God, what happened?" And then your response was, "I murdered somebody." And that was the only answer you had. So I was like, well, I got to figure this out now.
Wow. Very impressed that you went back 8 years on my Instagram. If you would have gone back on my Facebook, you would have seen what happened. So maybe not fantastic detective work.
I don't know if we're friends on Facebook, are we? That's why I didn't even check. So
we better be after this. No. So in high school, I played flag football. Mm-hmm. Get out your laughs now. Whatever. Everyone laughs when I tell them that. They always go, "Oh, you played in one powder puff game?" My answer is always no. Like, flag football's a varsity sport in Alaska.
Oh, like, really? I didn't know that.
Like, championship, everything like that. Like,
I just assumed you were in some sort of league. I didn't know it was an actual like high school sport.
Yeah, high school. I mean, my high school had a varsity, a JV, and 2 C teams. Like, it's a decently big thing there. But I think it's
0 football teams at our school because we didn't have enough people. So
yeah, fair. You graduated with 27.
Yeah, like, do you want to play golf or run cross country? Neither, but
yeah. So I played, and that was my senior year of high school. And every year there's like this is gonna sound cocky, but this is what they call it, an all-star game.
Okay.
Where they take like so many people from each school or like the best in different positions or whatever, and they create 2 teams and you like play this game and wear these like sponsored jerseys for charity pretty much. And so it was like you have a week of practice and then the game's on Saturday. And it was Thursday at practice, I think. I was on defense. I was a rusher. So essentially, as soon as the ball snapped, you rush the quarterback.
Okay.
And my friend actually from my school and I were, I think I was on the left, she was on the right. Ball was snapped. We both ran for the quarterback. Quarterback went right in between us, and we just slammed heads. straight together, like just above my eye. There's still kind of a scar. You can see it, but went straight into like the middle of her forehead. So like she had a gash. Like, I think mine just looked really bad because it was right above my eye, but like blood just gushed everywhere. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I think I was just like, I don't know if I had a concussion or what kind of state of confusion I was in. But I just remember laughing as like I'm sitting there and blood's just like pooling on the ground and yeah,
Damn. So it was just head-to-head contact.
Head-to-head, yeah. And then I remember because that night there was actually like a dinner for like the game, the charity or whatever at this pretty good restaurant in town, like super great. And I went out onto the bench, and that athletic trainer actually that made me want to be an athletic trainer from my high school was there, and she's like trying to put temporary bandages on me, and she's calling my mom. My mom freaks out. I'm pretty sure. I'm like, Mom, I'm fine. It's whatever. She thought it was a joke for some reason. Like, it was on Halloween. I don't know, like, why are jokes a thing on Halloween? I don't know, but
I guess maybe makeup, I guess.
Yeah, maybe she was confused with April Fools or something. But like, she thought we were like punking her or something. And then I sent her a photo. I was like, no, this is pretty real. My mom freaked out. She like drove right to me or whatever, like took me to the urgent care to get stitches. And I was just like, I just want to make this dinner. Like, it's at this great restaurant. I was really excited for it. And then the lady takes the longest time. Like, I'm talking 4 hours, I think, to put stitches under my eyebrow. And the whole time she's just talking to me about how fantastic this restaurant is that I'm supposed to go to. And I just look at my mom afterwards, and I was in high school, and I was like, fuck that lady. Like, the whole time she's just going on and on about how great this food is, and I was like, yeah, I'm missing out because you're taking forever.
Too long.
Yeah, but I think it ended up being like 13 stitches.
Oh shit.
But they were like the dissolvable ones, so
yeah,
smaller than real stitches. So that happened, and then a month later I was in Hawaii, and one of the stitches didn't dissolve, so I had to like pull it out of my eyebrow. It was like half in my skin and half out, and
damn,
yeah,
that's crazy. So did you ever get to the restaurant?
No, I didn't leave the urgent care till like 8:30
Well, I didn't
p.m.
know if you were like, we need to go to this, Mom. Like, I don't give a shit.
No, it was over. My mom and I got Subway on the way home. Like, it was not that great. But yeah, and now I've got to start. I don't know. Have you noticed it before?
No, but like after I was scrolling, and I was like, and then like I was like the other day, I was like, you can kind of see. You can kind of see.
No,
it.
you can. I put like scar gel on it a lot, but it's like right below the hairline.
Yeah, it's
so
very
you can,
very unnoticeable.
Yeah, you can't tell a whole lot.
I don't know if I have a scar here, and when I squint, I can like push it in sometimes.
Oh, whoa. Okay, yeah, no, it's kind of diagonal.
Yeah,
What's that from?
So I would like to share a few scar stories.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This was the only one on me.
Uh-oh.
So like I was a really young kid. I don't even know how old this time, maybe 10, 11.
Okay.
I was running around and being an annoying little ass kid.
Sure. Any
at
little
home.
kid.
And my dad grabs me and starts tickling me. And my reaction was to go down like this. And like I hit.
And like headbutt him? Or
No, and I just like did it like as like a flinch.
Okay.
And so like he was behind me. And then my head went down like on the corner of the oven. And I just was like, ran upstairs to my room crying.
Oh, no.
And then like, they're like, oh yeah, we hit his head and like, well, let's go check up on him. And I'm like just sitting in my room covered in blood. And my mom was like, what the fuck happened? Like, because like your forehead bleeds so much.
Your head bleeds a lot.
I remember from like just this little cut, like I was covered in blood all down in front of me, and you're like, "What the fuck? What happened? We just thought you hit your head."
Yeah, your head bleeds so much.
Yeah.
Did you get stitches, or
I don't
you just
remember.
let it heal?
I don't remember. I think.
I mean, it looks decently small, but
I can't even remember. Maybe we got stitches. I don't know. So there's that one story.
Okay.
I'm gonna run through these really fast.
Okay.
Story number 2. I took Morgan skiing for the first time in Tennessee.
Oh no.
Small mountain. We went to the Smokies, and then like one day, we were going up to the small ski resort just to go skiing down there.
Okay.
And it was hey, you're doing fine. You're doing good. We're figuring it out. And there was just like, but it was such a small resort. It's like, hey, let's go down some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, let's do a black diamond.
I think you're ready. And then like, we go up to the top of this lift, and you had to go down a black diamond for like very little, and then you're on a very mellow blue.
Okay.
You just had to get around this turn, and then you're on a blue. My problem, I realized after getting down this turn, she didn't know how to turn yet. So she goes down this black flying and runs straight into a post.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, fuck. Oh,
yeah.
God damn. Like, hope she's okay. Like, I'll ski over there. Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Then, like, her tooth went through the bottom of her lip.
Oh.
So, like, she was bleeding kind of profusely.
Yeah.
And her tooth went through it, so we had to be done skiing, go get stitches.
Yeah.
So that's a good story. But if you ever see Morgan, she's got a little scar right here below her
next
lip.
time, yeah.
Crazy story number 3, in Nicaragua.
Okay.
Don't get stitches in Nicaragua if you need them there.
Okay. Also, for the record, for anyone listening, don't get stitches in Alpena, Michigan. Just bypass that hospital and go to the next one, because I got
talk to you
stitches
about
there.
how good a restaurant it is.
No, that was in Anchorage, but I got other stitches in Alpena, and not good at all. But
okay, what are you gonna talk about that stitch story?
It's not that important. It was just a cut on my foot. But What about Nicaragua?
So me and George are skiing, or not? What the? I'm stuck on skiing. We're surfing. Holy shit!
Oh yeah, different sport. Put the tequila away.
Yeah. So we're surfing, and I'm like done because like I'm very beginner, can't figure it out. This is the first time I've been surfing for the 4 weeks I was there, and it's like I'm just gonna hang out on the beach. Forget this.
I know.
And he was like really into surfing and has been his whole life. And he hit a big wave wrong. And I just see his board go flying and him go flying.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, oh shit. And like he's underwater and like he comes up. I'm like kind of like I pick up and like watch. I'm like, nice swim out to make sure he's okay. And he just holding his face. And so when he fell off, his board smacked him in the nose.
Oh.
And cut his tooth cut, or his lip that connects to like your gums of your teeth completely ripped.
Ouch.
So he needed stitches on the inside of his mouth.
Oh
and
my
like
gosh.
his whole face was swollen and bleeding. And we're like, well, we got to go to a hospital.
Yeah. Do you even know where one is?
No, yeah. So we looked up a hospital. We hopped on a motorcycle. I drove him there, loaded up his board, and then I just sat there, dirt floors, and it's like, but it's kind of a socialistic, government provided healthcare.
Yeah.
For a third world country, essentially.
Yep.
And fucking stitch his ass up, and they were thick stitches. Like, well, this is the only ones we got. Sorry. So they pulled him, and like, dude, I'm watching him in eager pain of like getting stitches on the side of his mouth. So
yeah, did they numb him up at all? Or
as good as they could, but like they shot through it, and like he said like he swallowed the shit because like it just shot in his mouth.
Oh my god!
And then like they started right away before it was numb. And ripped it, but he's had these super thick stitches that had to stitch his lip back onto his gum. Yeah,
that's terrifying.
So those are my experiences with face cuts and stitches. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I thankfully only have the one face. The only other stitches I've gotten were my ankle. So nasty scar because again, Alpena, Michigan hospital, terrible. They did an awful job stitching me up, so the scar is much worse than it has to be, but it wasn't that bad.
At least it's on the foot, right?
Yeah, it's fine. No one can really see it.
Let's get into the big questions now. These are the ones I like to really pick your brain and get into figuring out why you're a number 7 and really pull the layers back.
Yeah, I'm a little scared, but I'll give you my honest answers.
All right, yeah, we can run through them. Don't feel like you need to have a big, long explanation. It's not like I'm not on the strife for like looking for long, virtuous, intellectual thoughts.
Okay, I wasn't going to go there anyways.
Good. I just want to know like what comes to your head when these questions are asked, some of your perspective on it. And so like, yeah, whatever comes to your mind, If it's nothing and it's like not really anything, that's totally fine as an answer. So don't feel like you have to give an answer if
Okay.
something that you're not really into.
Cool.
All right. Caitlyn, with kind of parallel with some of the things we talked about, aspirations of job, how would you define success?
Oof. Success to me, like so cliche, but honestly, just like being content with your life. I don't know that you necessarily need to be like happy. No one's happy 24/7. People have bad days, but like content with where you're at, what decisions you're making, and like who you are, honestly, at the end of the day. Like, you think you're a good person and you're enjoying life, like that's success to me.
Yeah, I love it. I know we both came from maybe going to college and getting our jobs, having a monetary goal. I know personally, like the aspiration for working for more money has diminished in recent years, whereas 3 years ago, I would have, my definition of success would have been largely based around monetary success.
Having that career and everything.
Yeah, and I think that's diminished for me. What about you with kind of getting a company where we do make fairly well wages?
Yeah.
Do you still find money being a part of that success, or I don't know. I'm not like saying it's a good thing or bad thing one way or the other.
Right now in my life, I can honestly say, yeah, 100% I'm still there. I mentioned MSU did not pay me at all to go to school, so I'm still paying on those loans, and I will be for a while. So like realistically, the thought of just like dropping my job, I feel like is kind of extra scary to me because I have 6 figures worth of student loan debt that I need to get through. So yeah, 100%. And like I am fine saying that money does play a large role in my decisions every day. Like, not great at it, but I try to budget. Like I save for vacations, things like that I want to do. So I mean, long term, like I don't know that I necessarily define like having boatloads of money as success. Like plenty of people with money that hate their life and literally sit in their cubicle for years, but yeah, they're making great money.
Yeah, and it's nothing like, it sounds like you're just like, a goal might not be I want to be a millionaire in 10 years, like, or is it?
No.
Okay.
Honestly, maybe that's some of it. Like everyone's into stocks and everything and investing. I'm like, yeah, that's great. I agree. I should probably get into that at some point, but like, I'm so clueless where a lot of that comes from. Like, would I like to retire early? Sure, I'd love to. But at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. Once I pay off my loans, like, I feel like money will severely drop on like my priority kind of list.
Yeah.
Of what's going on in my life.
Okay. Yeah, and just a little bit to tail off that with investing. My interest in investing definitely stemmed from like how can I make a ton of money and make more money and make my money work. And, yeah. You watch these videos on YouTube, like, oh yeah, you get like kind of into it.
They tell you like you can make this much by this age. Like,
and that's definitely how my interest in it started. And then like recently, it's like now that I have an account established, whatever you want to fucking say, and some money invested, it's turned into more of a game at this point where it's like, oh, it's fun. Like, let me research this company. Oh, they're doing cool things. And then it's like, now it's just turned into like reading about companies. What are they doing? How are they making money?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. I'll buy some of that company. If they, it's not like, how do I make $1 million tomorrow?
Yeah.
It's kind of devolved in that sense of like, fuck it. It's more of just a game at this point.
I think that's great that you're at that point, because I feel like in our personality types, like that, like it kind of drives us too. If someone's like, oh, you can retire by 30 and have this much money, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to work really hard for 8-10 years, like nose to the grindstone, and figure out that. So like once I'm 30, I can travel and do all this shit. So like, I mean, the thoughts cross my mind, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Money is important to me right now. Yes. Because I owe the government a lot of money. But like, as soon as that's gone, I feel like it's going to be a lot less in terms of like where I think I'm personally at kind of in life, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that kind of led me to this other question that I didn't have planned.
Oh boy.
I don't want to turn this into a political conversation. With having student loan debt, what is your thought on government student loan forgiveness?
I mean, I'd love it. Sure, pay off all my loans.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, someone's gonna pay for it eventually. I totally get the feeling of like, I don't know, a bunch of people at work were like, "Oh, do I get $10,000 too? Because I paid off my loans 2 years ago." I get that. If all mine were paid off, I'd be like, "Fuck this! Like, I worked hard to pay this money off, and like, I'm just gonna give it to other people." So I don't know. I mean, I'm torn at where I'm like, yeah, I'd love that. Pay off my loans, like, would help me out a ton.
100%. I see where that it's easy to have that perspective.
Yeah. But then at the same time, I'm like this is gonna come back on me and higher taxes and things like that eventually. So I don't know.
It's it sounds to me like, fuck it. I mean, if they're gonna do it, go for it. And but you're not gonna be out picketing in the streets fighting for it either.
I don't know that I'm gonna be out picketing for much, but no, yeah, I like if they're gonna do it, I might as well. Like, I'm not gonna turn it down. So
nice.
Yeah, we'll see. See how it goes.
Cool. Out of we might have picked a little bit. If we've talked about it earlier, just bring it back up as an answer for this. Do you have any specific goals that you have established right now in your life?
Yes. So the 50 states by the time I'm 30. We already talked about that. 15 countries in my lifetime.
Okay.
And honestly, if I reach there, that number is just gonna bump up. Like, I'll just keep making it higher.
Yeah.
I want the family, the kids, whatever, but like I don't know that that's like a set goal for me. It's not like quantitative. Like, I don't need to like be married by this age and this many kids. But like, I don't know, just experience different cultures and lives. Like, I feel like most of mine are based around traveling. Like, I have bucket list things. Like, I want to skydive here. Or, like, I want to like, I don't know, go on a cruise here kind of thing.
Have you ever skydove?
No, but I want to very badly.
Yeah. I would recommend it, but I don't know if I'd do it again.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I mean, you jump out of a plane once, like, how many different times? Like, will it feel that different?
I feel like I would need to do it in an exotic place.
I was going to say, did you do it in Ohio?
Yeah.
So there's been the opportunity to do it here quite a few times. Well, I mean, I guess it's not like someone's asked me and I just said no, because I'd probably say yes. But I feel like if I'm going to do it, I need to do it in Alaska. I need to do it in somewhere with mountains, a view.
Yeah, that's
Colorado,
fair.
Like,
yeah, that's fair, actually. If I was out there and I had the opportunity and it was like, yeah, okay, sure.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's kind of how I am. But I don't know. I feel like those are the big ones, the states and the countries.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from now?
Gosh. Hopefully with all my student loans paid off.
Either by yourself or the government. It doesn't matter.
They're gone, hopefully. 5 years. I better have visited every state. I mean, 10 years I'd like to be with the family. 5 years from now, I still don't think I'd be ready to like be settled down in one place. Like, I'm young. I feel like if now, like, when's the time to like move around and experience different stuff is now. So definitely out of Ohio, preferably out west, and hopefully being happy.
Yeah, nice.
Like, continuing with my adventurous self and not having just spent a year stuck in Ohio.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Couple more. You ready? Is
I'm
that still
ready.
fun? I feel like it's weird just like ripping through questions like this.
I know it is, but they're the big ones. You have to.
I know that we're both still fairly young in the scheme of life or whatever. If you could go give yourself, I'm trying to word this. If you could go back and give yourself advice when you were 15 years old, what would you tell yourself?
15, huh? Like sophomore
10 years
in high
ago.
school. Yeah, 10 years ago. I'd probably tell myself to gosh, I feel like I sound like a broken record, but like travel more than you did. Like also don't say no to things. Like I definitely got there. Amy likes to say I'm a yes woman. Like people ask me to do things and I just say yes because I want to, which is mostly true. But I mean, I've been hesitant about a lot of things, or like, sorry to whoever's listening, but I'd say I'm busy when I'm not.
And it was like 5 people like, what the fuck? Dude, she just told me she was busy yesterday.
Yeah, sorry everyone. But like, I don't know, sometimes like bigger things or like there's been a few like travel opportunities with people I don't know super well, and I've been like, oh, like no, like I don't know them that well, but like shoot, just say yes, like do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this phrase can pertain to a lot of things in life, but my friend has this saying for dates. She like was on a lot of dating apps. She had moved to a new city and she like decided to go on 7 dates in 1 week, like one every day. And I was what are you doing? Like that's exhausting. Like really putting yourself out there though, that's great. And she was like, look, it's either a great time or a great story.
Yeah, that's like, fair.
That's a great point, and I've applied that saying to a lot of things in my life.
I was just gonna say that's a decent application just to apply to different situations.
Yeah, like people are like, hey, you want to go to a weekend here? I'm like, yeah, it'll either be great or like I'll have a story to tell my friends when I come back. Like,
do you want to go to Cage's in Vandalia, Illinois?
No, Jonathan and Brittany try to make me go there all the time. And my answer to that will still be no.
Be a great story.
Unless you and Jonathan and Brittany come with. Otherwise, I'm out.
All right, that's fair.
But yeah, probably just like do more. Say yes to more. Like, also don't be so reserved. That'd be my advice for my younger self. Like, I mean, anyone listening can obviously tell I love to talk. And like, I'm a pretty open person, but it takes me a bit to get there. Like, I'm very shy, I feel like, to start with people. So just like, I don't know, be yourself. Who cares?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Cool. Okay. I know we brought it up. It's funny, like a lot of these questions I feel like we've like touched on like throughout the last couple hours, but I just kind of want to bring it back to like a full culmination.
Yep.
Can you name some big pivotal moments in your life? I know you said in preparation you saw like this question. You get like, fuck, I need to let me think. Like, let me go back like on all of my life. What are some big moments? So can you name some?
Oh, hell yeah, I can. I came prepared. Birth.
Let's start from the very beginning.
Big moment. November 27th, 1995. Anchorage, Alaska. But no, like, I mean, that obviously.
What a book.
I've got my baby photos here we can look at. No, but I mean, like, obviously growing up in Alaska, like, being born was a big moment. I guess anyone could say that, though. Chronologically, I forget what else I was. A big pivotal moment. In 2nd grade, I had one of my best friends at the time was supposed to spend the night at her house that night. Randomly comes up to me in class and says, and I quote, "You know, Caitlyn, the whole world doesn't revolve around you."
Damn, dude.
An 8-year-old said that to another 8-year-old, and out of nowhere, I was like, what the hell does this mean? Like, what? We're friends? What am I doing? So that moment just sticks out to me in general. I think that was the first time I just, like, backed down from someone.
Sorry, I don't mean, like, straying away from that conversation, but, like, what I picture in my head is, like, an 8-year-old version of yourself just, like torn away, and then, like, a shot of a camera just, like, zooming out, and, like, you're just, like, this little person in this huge world, like,
I had no idea what that meant, where it came from, or what. But, like, I'm pretty sure I started crying. I was like, I don't know what that means, but it's got to be mean. So I think that's a pivotal moment. And, like, at that point in my life, I could have, like, stuck up for myself and been like, no, screw you. But I cried in a corner instead. So.
Well, it's a decent thing to have your ego in check, and like, it's funny that it's a 2nd grader, 8-year-old of like, you think about like you know think about if you're hot shit in a situation, you go back, you be like, dude, 8-year-old me would be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm not lying. That quote is like one quote that's stuck with me my whole life. I'll just randomly flash back to that moment. Like I can picture it too.
That's awesome.
So that's just a big moment there. Choosing to go to MSU, obviously, like I wouldn't be here right now if I didn't go to MSU. That's what opened the doors to everything. I mean, and that was 5 years of my life. I could name countless moments in there, but pretty much just boils down to like meeting my lifelong friends. I've got some great college friends that I keep in touch with all the time still. Tons of like learning, growing moments. Like I moved 4,000 miles away from home to a campus with 43,000 people. And I knew one of them who just happened to be like the valedictorian that I graduated with. Like, we weren't that close though. So I was like, yeah, I know this girl, but we're not really friends. So that was just like me coming out of my shell, like learning how to do everything on my own was huge. After that, like I feel like deciding to go to Patoka for the co-op was a big moment. They gave me a choice and I was like, I don't really want to move to this town of 1,000 people in the middle of nowhere. Like I'm gonna have no friends. It's gonna be so boring. But I did it and I loved it. Like
nice.
Absolutely loved my whole time there. Obviously starting the job. Oh, a big one was the day actually that I got my Ohio license and I became an Ohio resident. Like, I'm not kidding. That was a very sad day.
I was going to say, was this pivotal in the wrong direction?
Yeah,
like,
no.
I don't want this to happen.
Yeah, it was. I avoided it for as long as I could. And then I took the Alaska plates off my car. I put my Alaska ID in my wallet. I still have it because I'm never going to get rid of it. But the freaking people at the Ohio DMV stamped the word Ohio into my Alaska ID. And literally all I could think was just like, this state is ruining everything about me.
The only ID I still have is my fake ID. So,
where's it from?
It's one of my friends who looks like me.
Solid. Yeah, no, I still have it. And that was just a big day for me. I remember going back home afterwards and being like, wow, like I'm not from Alaska anymore. Like I freaking live in Ohio. Like this is wild.
It sounds like your pivotal moments have been very like self-reflective of just sitting down by yourself and taking a deep breath.
Yeah, no, they have. It's kind of like most of the time it ends up in like, what in the hell am I doing? Like, yeah. But why am I here? But I mean, I feel like most of my pivotal moments, I skipped a bunch in there, but like they've all been with me moving somewhere, like getting in new scenery, trying out something new, meeting new people. Like one of the more recent ones, obviously, was starting the temp assignment at work. Like got super close with Amy because of that. Like met you, like been talking to Kuhn more because of it. Like, I don't know. I feel like all of my pivotal moments have to do with like either like a change in where I'm living or like a change in what I'm doing. Yeah. And then most of them have to do with like the people I met because of that.
I was just going to say that, like, at least from this conversation, it seems like those experiences are largely based on having personal relationships with people around you. Yeah. And people putting you in your place. And
some people do. Yeah. I'm sure there's a few more in there where people have really like stuck something to me and I didn't know how to respond. But yeah,
nice. Yeah. Caitlin, what is the meaning of life?
Jake. You may be surprised to hear I prepared for this question.
I love it. Okay.
And I still don't have a great answer. But to me, the meaning of life is it just boils down to making the most of your time here. Everyone's life is going to be a different length, and you just need to do what you want to do to be happy and be a good person. Obviously, like plenty of bad people out there, so maybe that's not the meaning of life, but like to me, I feel like you need to get the most out of what you're doing here. If you're not happy, change it. Like we've said it plenty of times.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin, I hope that you continue to follow your goals. You reach all 50 states. Yep. We can continue our friendship. Thank you for doing this conversation.
Yeah.
Very much appreciated. But you made it the whole way. So let's applaud to that one and do a cheers. So thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks for doing this again.
Thanks for having me on.
Of
this
course,
was fun.
It was fun. So if we have some more experiences, we could do a round 2.
Okay. Yeah, I'd have to prepare again all my secondary pivotal moments, but
yeah. Well, maybe we can do more of an informal one. We can do me, you, and Amy. We just do rip shots.
That would be incredible, and she would 100% be down for it.
All right, we'll call out right now. So Amy,
Yep.
round 2 will be a 3-person and doing shots on a Saturday night.
I like it. I'm in for it.
All right, Caitlyn, you made it.
I'm
to the end.
proud.